Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Flat Earth School, the school that is around us 24/7 since the beginning of existence. I'm Mitchell from Australia, merely a student like the rest of us, always learning, always questioning, always thinking critically about the world around us, the physical and natural world around us. Welcome everyone to Flat Earth School. Hey Michael Khan. Hey King. You're new here. You're going to enjoy this today. I think everyone's going to enjoy this. This will be a presentation featuring videos from a YouTube channel called Taboo Conspiracy. Free ball and bear. There you go, mate. I haven't actually got Ben here today. I'm just featuring his videos. I have invited him on for 1 week as a special guest. We're still trying to work out the times and the dates, but I will get Ben Taboo Conspiracy on 1 week. But today I'll be featuring his videos. Titan Long, how are you, mate? Hopefully you might even get a nice sunrise today. On the far right there of the camera. Might just peep through. There was some nice colours coming through before, that's why I picked this spot, but close to the sunrise, the colours seem to go away in the sky. I encourage everyone to get out and try and see a sunrise, especially when there's a bit of cloud around. That's the best ones. When it's kind of about to rain, heaps of humidity, lots of cloud around, they're the best sunrises. We don't get many good sunsets here. Well, obviously because I'm on the east coast, so I don't see the sun setting over water. There's mountains to our west. Sometimes there's nice colours, but usually the sunrises are a lot more spectacular. I hope you've been enjoying Flat Earth School this week. There has been some fantastic presentations and videos put out on my channel, absolutely confirming 100% undeniably that we are living on a flat Earth. Hope you guys all caught them. Michael Kahn, since he missed yesterday's show with a special guest from a Yowie, as he'd call it. Nicole Diesel, how are you? Yeah, that was a great show. When a globe believer chucks their model under the bus, it is a great show. I had someone come in and tell me that this is a globe believer, by the way. The way we use a sextant is we look straight through the sextant to the horizon. It's a straight line. Yeah, correct. Welcome to Flat Earth. That's the start of the #1 flat Earth proof. That is a straight line from the observer to the horizon. And make no mistake, we are dropping anchor here. This is the #1 flat Earth proof, and other than the person trying to address it yesterday, and what's his name? Al Bobberuni, Bob the pseudoscience guy. No one else is addressing this. I'm assuming they're going to start having to address this because we keep calling them out. We're putting our cards on the table here. We're saying this is the #1 flat Earth proof. You want to debunk it? Here it is. To date, we've got not even relatively close to debunking this because the sextant is a angle measuring device. You don't have to start with any premises. You definitely don't have to start with the presumption that you're on a globe, because that is begging the question. It's never been proven. You don't have to start the presumption that you're on a flat Earth even. All you have to do is know how the sextant works. It is an angle measuring device. That means you need to have two straight lines. You need to have a flat, straight baseline. Everyone's seen a triangle. Everyone has been through kindergarten, pre-kindergarten. Everyone knows what a triangle looks like. Who's ever seen a triangle with a curved baseline? It is not possible. You cannot achieve any angles with a curved baseline, with any curved lines for that matter. You need 3 straight lines for a triangle. And at the very least, for an angle, you need two straight lines that meet at a vertex. The bottom straight line is the horizontal. That was the presentation I went through on Wednesday. The presentation that was titled, "The Flat Earth has finally been proven." The Earth has finally been proven flat, something along those lines. Because it has been. Absolutely proven flat. And it's been under our noses this whole time. Head off to Quantum Eraser, subscribe to Quantum Eraser, subscribe to 10th Man. They have brought this #1 flat Earth proof forward, and they keep hammering it in. They keep just signifying how important this is. And the globe believers are just sticking their fingers in the ears, covering their eyes, saying, la, 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 not listening, no, don't want to deal with it, it's too painful. Anyway, let's get into today's topic. Flat Earth facts. This is from Taboo Conspiracy. Subscribe to Taboo Conspiracy. I'll put the link in the description. This is his channel here on YouTube. Taboo Conspiracy I. Yes, it is the third rendition of his awesome YouTube channel because it keeps getting taken down. And you know when someone's gone through, this is his third YouTube channel, you know the information's hard-hitting. Who have we got in the chat? John Furr, how are you, mate? One of my awesome patrons. Bex, Michael Kahn, another awesome patron. Dalib Jacobson, Bree. How's everyone going? Tight and long? Yeah, I'm fantastic. if you were asking me, Michael Kahn, I am fantastic. This entire week, I'd say, yeah, most of the past 3 months, it's been a massive high. This is the 51st show. Yesterday was the 50th show. Possibly not. I'm gonna have to check that. I think I'm tired this number 51. It may be number 52. Yeah, time just gets away. But it has been fantastic. There has never been a better time to be a flat earther. Rambo's Skills Bear, love the name. From California. Yeah, this is an international audience here. It is brilliant. All right, let's get into flat smack biblical. 3 thumbs down already, I know. They just don't want to deal with this information that we're putting out. All right, well, let's get into it. From Taboo Conspiracy, this is the first flat Earth fact, and he's got, how many has he got at the moment in this series? 15. All right, the first one is titled Flat Earth Fact Number 1, 8 inches per mile squared. Here we go.
According to the globe model, the surface of all standing water must have a certain degree of convexity. Based on the alleged globe circumference of about 25,000 miles, the Earth must curve away from you at 8 inches per mile squared. The formula is simple and accurate over all visible distances and has been proven by engineering software. At just 10 miles, there should be a measurable curvature drop of 67 feet, 20 miles, 267 feet, 60 miles, 2,400 feet. To calculate what amount should be hidden behind the alleged globe bulge, you can use an online calculator like this one. We can prove that this curvature does not exist. For example, in this video, I filmed the opposite shore 21.03 miles away. You can see both a laser source and its reflection on the water. That laser in the opposite shore should have been between 218 to 223 feet below the globe horizon. No curvature is present. At a different lake in freezing conditions, the source of this distant laser should have been 168 feet below the curvature. No curvature is present. If the Earth...
That was number 1. 1 of 15. No curvature present. It is just a fact of our world. We cannot see curvature. Tight and Long sends me $5 towards the next 50 Flat Earth shows. Thanks, mate. Really appreciate the support. Is there any curvature ever measured on our Earth? No, because number one, that's just, as we've found out, that is just begging the question. There's no curvature to measure in the first instance. There's no R value. It's never been proven. The R value is the radius, been smashed by the black swan. This is flat Earth fact number 2, documenting evidence, a flat, non-rotating Earth.
We're a globe with a curvature drop roughly equal to 8 inches per mile squared, and the surface of the Earth and its atmosphere allegedly rotated at approximately 1,000 miles per hour at the equator, as claimed by the globe model. You'd assume those claims would be vital to NASA and the military for modeling and building aircraft. Instead, you'll see through declassified documents that government agencies and their contractors repeatedly assumed a flat and stationary Earth. For example, this NASA document assumes a flat, non-rotating Earth. Georgia Institute of Technology, on behalf of NASA, the model used is a flat, non-rotating Earth. Technical memo from the NASA Langley Research Center, flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA Technical Memorandum, flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA publication on the derivation and definition of a linear aircraft model, flat, non-rotating Earth, and flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA contractor, flat, non-rotating Earth, and flat Earth assumptions. NASA Ames Research Center, non-rotating flat Earth. Army Research Laboratory, flat Earth. Army Research Laboratory, propagation of electromagnetic fields over flat Earth. Army Research Laboratory, a flat Earth approximation provides the best estimate. NASA Technical Paper, stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA Technical Memo, a non-rotating Earth. MIT Department of Aeronautics and Astronautics, flat Earth, flat Earth. NASA memo, flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA contractor report, assumption based on the Earth is flat and non-rotating. NASA technical memo, flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA technical paper, stationary atmosphere and flat, non-rotating Earth assumptions. NASA technical note, flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA Langley Research Center, flat, non-rotating Earth. Army Research Laboratory, these equations assume a flat Earth. Even the Soviets made their assumptions based on a flat Earth. If the Earth were a ball and rotated at 1,000 miles per hour, you obviously would not see the repeated engineering assumptions that the Earth is flat and stationary.
How good was that?
If the Earth were a
How good was that? Ben, Taboo Conspiracy. Absolutely annihilating the need for a globe. Yeah? Where do we take into account curvature? Where do we take into account the rotation of the Earth? Where do we take into account the globe? It is just something that we do not do in reality. It's fantastic. So many documents stating a flat, non-rotating Earth. If you don't get it by now, that's why I'm playing these things. Because there are so many proofs that we are living on a flat, non-rotating, enclosed Earth. Some crepuscular rays just coming through. That is impossible on a globe. That sunrise there, with the rays, if you will, of the sun going off in all different directions, converging at one point. We get told that the sun rays are meant to come in parallel to the Earth. Where do we ever see this? Michael Kahn sends me £5. He'll add to the next 50 shows too. Thanks, Michael Kahn. And Chief Brody, no indoctrination, just education. That's what I'm trying to put out here, education. And this series by Taboo Conspiracy is one of the best educational series you will find on Flat Earth. Flat Earth facts. Nathan Oakley, how are you? Snowbirds. There goes Eratosthenes. Yep. Death Star goes boom, says Bree. Schumann TV, good to see you here. Yeah, Eratosthenes absolutely needs that sun that we're seeing in the right of the screen right there. That sun needs, its rays need to be coming in parallel, like a spotlight even. I did a great show on that. Go and see the heliocentric spotlight sun. That's a fantastic show. James Mason, how are you, mate? Yeah. So sticks and shadows, or shadows in wells, whatever you want to say the Eratosthenes observation was. Yeah, he needed. Number one, he presupposed that he was on a spherical Earth without even proving that to begin with. He may have been the first glober to beg the question. Who knows? There could have been people before him, but he's a very famous one to actually beg the question that he's already on a globe and a circumference was obtainable. a radius was obtainable before it was even proven. Sun rays coming in parallel needed for that. What do we see in that right hand picture right there of the sun? Crepuscular rays converging to 1 point. Quite spectacular here this morning. Glad you can all join me for this. It is beautiful. Morning is the best time to be out and about. And it is starting to warm up here in Australia. It's awesome. I better get back to the presentations because there is 15. That was number 2 there by Taboo Conspiracy. Subscribe to Taboo Conspiracy. I've got the link in the description. Let's get to number 3. Well, one of our favorites from Bill Nye.
Model, there is a point on the globe where the alleged curvature of the Earth begins to obstruct distant objects. Under the globe, this point is referred to as the horizon and is marked by an X on the diagram. One can determine the distance to the alleged globe horizon in miles by taking the square root of the observer's height in feet and multiplying by 1.225, or you can simply use an online calculator like this one or this one. We can prove there is no globe geometric horizon and therefore no globe. In this test, infamously referred to as the black swan, with a camera height of only 1 foot, the globe horizon would have to be closer than a mere 1.2 miles. 1.2 miles would be the maximum distance to the horizon under the globe. But the closest platform on the right was 6.2 miles away, and the platform on the left was 9.4 miles away. As you can see, the horizon is miles beyond 9.4 miles, belying the globe model. In this video, with an observation height of 105 feet, the globe horizon would have to be closer than 12.6 miles. But the horizon is well beyond the third platform, that's 26.4 miles away. Again, there is no bulge and no geometric horizon. The globe fails. For this test, filmed by an engineer, the globe horizon would have to be closer than 8.2 miles. Instead, the apparent horizon is well beyond 14.6 miles. The globe fails. For this test, filmed by a PhD, the horizon would have to be closer than 2.3 miles. Instead, the apparent horizon is many miles beyond 11.2 miles. You can even see a boat further away and perspectively higher than the base of the wind turbines, proving there is no curvature whatsoever, not even an inch. The globe fails. In this video, the globe horizon would have to be closer than 1.9 miles. As you can see, the horizon is beyond the bird rack that was 11.2 miles away, proving the globe faults. Again and again, the globe geometric horizon is proven to not exist. Therefore, the globe cannot exist.
They were multiple black swans there from Taboo Conspiracy. It is awesome. And we've got Taboo Conspiracy in the chat here. Hello, Taboo. Thank you for joining us. Ben from Taboo Conspiracy. Click on the link, his little icon there. Go and subscribe to his channel. It is awesome. That's where this information is coming from, featuring Taboo Conspiracies 15 at the moment. Flat Earth facts. These are just facts of our flat Earth. Yeah, where better to present this but on a Flat Earth School stream? It is awesome. Taboo Conspiracy, Ben, you are awesome. Putting out some great work. Send Ben some love. Say hello to him. Subscribe to him if you haven't. That was the black swan. Multiple black swans there by Taboo Conspiracy. There's not just one black swan. I've done my own black swan, the Australian black swan, seeing a horizon far in the distance of 7.6 miles from a 5-foot observer height. The geometric horizon, if you are on a globe of 3959 miles radius, can be no more than 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. This is the #1 globe killer. Because time after time, as Taboo Conspiracy just showed, there are so many examples of never seeing that geometric limitation. There is no globe edge. There is no curvature to block things from the bottom up. There is no curvature for boats to disappear over. We used to say we see too far, but we just have to see. That's all we do. We see with our eyes, with cameras, with telescopes. We don't have to explain how far we have to see. That's on the globe to explain, because nothing that we see in reality lines up on a globe. Does not work. All right, let's get back into, it's going to be number 4. of Flat Earth Facts from Taboo Conspiracy channel. Please subscribe to him. Show him some love.
I have proven and will continue to prove.
I'll just premise this with Flat Earth Fact number 4. What about refraction?
When visibility is high without miraging, we see way too far in total contradiction to the globe model. Because of these repeatable observations that anyone can perform, the only counterclaim the globe propagandist has is refraction. As though refraction has this fairy tale property that inexplicably removes all evidence of giant bulges of Earth curvature, the globe claim is patently false. As shown here and in countless examples, refraction is real. It compresses, it stretches, it distorts, it obscures and mirages. You can see it with your own eyes. But the globe propagandists have hijacked the term refraction and took this observable reality and deceptively changed refraction into an imaginary Earth curvature removing device. In my last video, I shared this footage proving the Earth is flat. The globe horizon was supposed to be closer than 2.3 miles, but the horizon is many miles beyond 11.2 miles. The globe bulge was supposed to be blocking 25 feet of the first turbine and blocking 53 feet of the furthest turbine. Instead, you can see the base of the turbines getting perspectively higher instead of sinking below the supposed Earth bulge as the ball would require. The globe propagandist's only counterclaim is that refraction caused the Earth bulge to disappear without a trace and then reappear miles beyond 11.2 miles, all without affecting the 6 turbines in between. I hope you already see that the refraction claim is without merit. I filmed this footage as my wife walked from the top of the beach all the way to the water's edge, where she placed a 4-foot mirror into the water 6.3 miles away. I filmed her the entire way, but the globe curvature was supposed to be hiding 12 feet. But look at this still from the video. There is absolutely no distortion of the distant shore. But this 12 feet here should be behind the curvature of the Earth, like this. Did that 12 feet hop the curvature without causing a cascade of distortion? If 12 feet jumped the curvature, wouldn't it then overlap the 12 feet above it, causing manifest distortion? Are we to believe that every inch up to at least 100 feet uniformly arced perfectly over the curvature to present this flat, non-distorted distant shore? Ridiculous. In this example I shared in my Flat Earth Fact video 1, the distant shore was 21.03 miles away. You can see the non-distorted distant shore. 223 feet should have been hidden behind the Earth curvature, but none of it is. If 223 feet hopped over the curvature, where is the manifest distortion, as that 223 feet would then overlap the 223 feet above it? There is zero evidence of this refraction distortion, and the mountain behind evinces the same. At the same spot, I then filmed my friend's laser that should have been 218 feet below the horizon. Not only did I film the bright laser source, but I also filmed the reflection of the laser source on the water, which would have appeared somewhere around here on a ball. Think about that reflection on the water. Bear in mind that the reflection would have been angled away from my point of view, but the giant bulge supposedly just disappeared and everything in the distance wrapped around the Earth curvature perfectly to keep the image intact. Furthermore, if that nonsensical refraction event happened, why didn't the bulge itself jump up and still continue to block the laser? How did refraction affect everything but the closer giant bulge, but instead made the bulge disappear? To the honest and reasonable thinking person, the refraction argument of the globe propagandist is utter nonsense and should be shunned as such.
Yeah, refraction there. That was brilliant, Ben. Thank you. Refraction. And just another thing on refraction. If you're claiming, globe believers, that when you're looking out to the horizon, it is a refracted horizon, welcome to Flat Earth. It is optical, isn't it? Yeah, that's what Flat Earth argument. That the horizon is not physical. As you've just said, if you're claiming refraction when looking at the horizon, chucking your curvature, chucking your globe under the bus. A refracted horizon, that's an optical horizon, isn't it, globe believers? And furthermore, adding to the number 1 flat Earth proof, when looking through a section at the horizon, what are you looking at, globe believers? Is that a bent line from the observer, from the sextant to the horizon? A bent baseline? Yeah, you can't achieve angles with a bent, curved baseline. That's why it's the number 1 flat Earth proof, because we are looking through a sextant at the horizon and it's absolutely straight. That is reality. Thanks for being here, Ben. Subscribe to Ben, Taboo Conspiracy. And Nathan Oakley as well in the chat here. Nathan Oakley 1980. Michael Kahn was putting the links in the chat. Michael, can you please put both Taboo Conspiracies link to subscribe and also Nathan Oakley's? Yeah, there'll be a flat Earth debate uncut and after show straight after this stream. But don't go anywhere yet, because we've still got more flat Earth facts from Taboo Conspiracy. This is number 5. Flat Earth fact number 5. Making space seem real. Faking space photos.
According to NASA, there were no pictures of the Earth from space from 1972 until 2015. 43 years without a photograph of the Earth from space. Quoting Robert Simon, who is NASA's lead visualizer, NASA's website reads, "The last time anyone took a photograph from above low Earth orbit that showed an entire hemisphere, one side of a globe, was in 1972 during Apollo 17. We'll talk about the fake Apollo moon missions later, but 43 years is still shocking to most people. This is the 2002 blue marble that hangs in many classrooms and was even the wallpaper on your iPhone. It certainly looks real, and most people would think it is, but it's admittedly a fake image created by NASA. According to NASA, then we wrapped a flat map around a ball. My part was integrating the surface clouds and oceans to match people's expectations of how Earth looks from space. That ball became the famous blue marble. So this phony globe was designed to match people."
I'm not going to pause too many times here, going through these flat Earth facts. But I just want to signify how devastating this is right here. Then we wrap the flat map around a ball. The flat map. Yeah, what have I been saying for the past, 20-something shows? That all maps are flat. Globe believers, show us your map that takes into account curvature. It's not possible. We never measure any curvature when taking into account the layout of the land. Using theodolite, a total station, a sextant, we measure the Earth as absolutely flat. There is no curvature. Now it says right there, then we wrap the flat map around the ball. Let's continue.
So this phony globe was designed to match people's expectation of how Earth looks from space. Yet it looks as real as anything produced by NASA. In fact, faking space seems to be an admitted NASA standard. According to Wired magazine, in this article titled "How NASA Visualizes Stunning Worlds Without Really Seeing Them, Making Space Seem Real." Images sure don't come straight out of Space Telescope looking press release ready. Each visualization is the result of artists and planetary scientists collaborating to convert blips on a data readout into something that looks like a planet, all while remaining scientifically plausible. Making space seem real. Matching people's expectations. Scientifically plausible. I don't care how you whitewash it. This isn't science at all. This is propaganda designed to make you believe in outer space. After the admitted 2002 blue marble fakery, NASA claims that they took an actual photograph of the Earth from space in July 2015. That's the first alleged photograph in 43 years. Here it is. Of course, this alleged 2015 photo doesn't look much different than the admitted fake globe image of 2002. NASA artists can admittedly create fake images of the Earth that look real, and so why would anyone believe this one is real? If flat maps can be wrapped around a ball to create a fake globe, then why couldn't they even wrap weather radar data onto a globe in real time? That's exactly what they do. But let's take this first supposed photograph in 43 years, rotate it, and zoom in. The word sex is spelled in the clouds. What's even more strange is the fact that it closely resembles a Greek 666. You know, the mark of the beast from Revelation. Again, this isn't cherry picking one of thousands of images. This is the first supposed photograph of the Earth from space in 43 years, and it just so happens to have either a sex or a Greek 666 spelled in the clouds. Regardless, NASA's admitted standard of fakery to making space seem real is enough for any sensible person to reasonably doubt anything produced by NASA and its subsidiaries.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
Take a gap. That is one of the best quotes. It is photoshopped, but it has to be. Fantastic. John Furr in the chat gives me 20 Canadian dollars for a super sticker. Awesome. Thank you so much, John Furr. This is some great presentation by Ben, Taboo Conspiracy. Yeah, maybe they were trying to spell sextant in the clouds. Kevlar, that's a good one, but ran out of time. Yeah, so they just left it as sex. It's perverted, isn't it? This is why these presentations are so important, because some people don't know this information, and that's why I want to put it forward. Taboo Conspiracy has done a fantastic job here. Flat Earth fact number 6, the vacuum of space.
Gas, vacuum of equal volume, and we're going to remove the barrier. You know what's going to happen spontaneously, right? The gas is going to fill the available volume.
Is the expansion of a gas into a vacuum. I have in one of these bulbs some bromine, and in the other I have a vacuum. And if I open the tap between these two, you will see spontaneously the bromine rush from one to the other. Now that is the simplest change we can have, perhaps, because all that happens is a change in entropy. In this case, the expansion into a vacuum, nothing else is involved. There's no energy change, there's no temperature change, there's no change except entropy.
When you suggest that you have space, therefore second law of thermodynamics doesn't apply, it's a begging the question fallacy. So often I will ask fundamentalist religious zealots, beyond your fundamentalist religious zealot belief that the sky is a vacuum, how can you have gas pressure without a container? Because the natural instinct of a fundamentalist globe-believing fundy, it's a bit redundant, is to beg the question of the sky vacuum and then tell us that obviously the second law of thermodynamics doesn't apply because the gas isn't filling my presupposition that the sky is a vacuum. Well, that's a begging the question fallacy, to assume that you've got a sky vacuum and therefore not require a justification for its violation of that particular law. That would be an entropy increase, or standard gas law. The volume that you would calculate it with would be the volume of space the gas has to fill. And if the sky was a vacuum, that would be an availability of volume for the gas we breathe to fill. And fill it must. That's what gas does. It expands in all directions. So the gas we're breathing, which is at pressure, would fill the sky vacuum. Now, their response is often to say, well, we have a gas pressure gradient, which is merely a delta of the original question and assertion when you've got a sky vacuum belief. How can you have gas pressure in the first instance without a container? And they would say, well, a delta of gas pressure gradient is something we experience. It's like, well, how did you achieve the gas pressure in the first place without containment? And the answer is you can't. It stands directly in violation of several natural laws. Without the container, there can be no pressure. Therefore, if the sky was a vacuum, as asserted in the heliocentric rhetoric, then the gas we breathe would fill the space. Outer space, claimed to be a vacuum, is fake. Therefore, any claims from that claim to be sky vacuum are automatically fake, including but not limited to pictures of Earth from space. The region is fake, second law of thermodynamics violation. Therefore, the pictures claimed to have come from the fake region are also fake. Orbits in a sky vacuum, which is also a begging the question fallacy, which I won't detail now, is claimed to take place in a fake place called space. Therefore, automatically fake. Same goes for satellites. All debunked by the second law of thermodynamics and several other laws of nature, descriptions of how things occur always. Standard gas law, Boyle's law, Avogadro's law. These are all violated by the assertion that we have a sky vacuum. We don't. And any stage performance that comes from that region is also fake, including the ISS, taking place on a stage on Earth, on high wire, not in a second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum. You can't have orbital mechanics without an assumption of the R value, and we've debunked it with the black swan. But orbits is always going to be a begging the question fallacy to begin with. Nice that we can debunk it with one breath. We debunked R. Bye-bye orbital mechanics. Bye-bye globe Earth.
Nathan Oakley, 1980. follow his. He does flat Earth debates every day. Nathan Oakley is my favorite right now. I love Nathan Oakley.
Yeah, me too.
He demolishes people.
Absolutely.
Subscribe to Nathan Oakley 1980. Michael Kahn has been spamming the link in the chat. Yes, that's him. The man who was talking before Johnny Bravo there. Nathan Oakley 1980. Absolutely demolishing the globe with flat Earth debates. And everyone on his panel, please subscribe to Nathan Oakley today. Does a daily debate stream. Anyone can join. Feel free, globe believers. If you've got a globe proof, if you've got proof of R, globe believers, join Nathan Oakley 1980 every single day and hash it out with him. See how you go. That was an awesome video presentation by Taboo Conspiracy and Nathan Oakley detailing how everything in space is fake. You think planets are orbiting things. How do you have gas pressure that we're breathing next to the vacuum of space without a container? Every single example of gas pressure is existing in containment. Show us gas pressure without a container, globe believers. Yeah, the ISS. You're watching a live stream from the ISS, are you? Where's the ISS? In the second law of thermodynamics violation? You claim to be space? Yeah, does not work, globe believers. This is number 7. Flat Earth fact number 7. The aeronauts witness to our flat Earth.
On May 27th, 1931, Auguste Piccard became the first man to reach the stratosphere at an altitude of 51,775 feet. That's much higher than the maximum cruising altitude of all existing commercial flights. In this Popular Science article, Piccard described the Earth as follows. It seemed a flat disk with upturned edge. Then in 1933, Russian aeronauts reached an altitude of 62,304 feet. That's higher than the maximum cruising altitude of the Concorde jet and higher than the alleged commercial flights of the MiG-29. This is how Popular Science described the aeronauts' experience. Looking down, they tried in vain to detect any curvature of the Earth's horizon. Of course, Piccard and the Russians should have seen the curvature of the Earth at those altitudes, but they didn't, even though they wanted to. Kudos to them for their honesty. Although I will be sharing high-altitude balloon footage at much higher elevations proving there is no curvature and no axial rotation, these testimonies from these unbiased aeronauts in the 1930s evince that no one you know has ever seen the curvature of the Earth belying the claims of the globe propagandists.
And furthermore, Neil deGrasse Tyson now tells us that you cannot see the curvature of the Earth from, what is it now, 58 miles up, 86 kilometers, the Virgin Galactic, and that other one that has blue in its name, the very, very high altitude plane flights that you can now supposedly take, that the members of the public can now just pay hundreds of thousands of dollars and you can go up. What are you seeing? Just a great view. Neil deGrasse Tyson says you will not see the curvature of the Earth. He did some calculations. He doesn't think you're going to see it. So you are never, any civilian, any normal person, this is in the globe narrative, you will never see the curvature of the Earth ever. Let's continue. Flat Earth fact number 8. Loran proves no curvature.
Loran was a naval navigation system that was originally developed during World War II and was allegedly used until the 1990s. In short, it worked by 2 radio towers on the coast that would transmit radio waves across the ocean. Using the Loran system, a boat then could use the difference in the timing of the radio signals to calculate the vessel's location. These 2 Loran stations, Sisconset and Bodie Island, for example, were 482 miles apart and could be over 1,000 miles away from the vessel. Using the distance between the Sisconset and Bodie Island stations as an example, the Sisconset station was 625 feet tall, with an added elevation of approximately 10 feet. At that height and distance, according to the dimensions of the alleged globe, that would make a target hidden height of 135,000 feet or 25.4 miles. That means that the Bodie Island Tower would have to be 14,000 feet higher than this weather balloon to have a line of sight with the Sisconset station. But the Bodie Island station was only maybe 150 feet tall, and these signals reached vessels over 1,000 miles away. Furthermore, look at the angle of the tower. The radio waves would be pointed towards space under the globe. There was no Earth curvature shadow blocking any signal from the Loran system. The official explanation is that the radio waves, traveling at the speed of light, mysteriously hugged the surface of the Earth and wrapped around the curvature, inexplicably jumping bulges of water and Earth dozens of miles tall. Defying logic and reason, globe claims always include some extraordinary, unproven tell why the Earth curvature simply disappears without a trace. Simply stated, the Loran system is another indication that the Earth is indeed flat.
Absolutely. Well detailed, Ben. Before we even had satellites, claimed orbits, begging the question of all these things, we had Loran, the long range navigation. Yeah? Why did we need satellites in the first place? Just to put your imagination up there, into the sky vacuum. Not needed. Satellites, definitely not needed. We can definitely navigate without satellites. It is all ground-based. Sometimes it's balloon-based now, but as we just saw from Taboo Conspiracy, that was number 8, Loran, flat Earth effect number 8. We do not need, there is no need for satellites. It's all ground-based.
Okay, we're told.
Sorry, this is number 9, flat Earth fact number 9, planes landing on a 1,000 mile per hour spinning ball.
The Earth rotates at 15 degrees per hour, 1 rotation per day. If a plane were taking off from the North Pole at a distance of 1 mile from the geographic North Pole or literal axis of rotation of Earth, that would be a 6.28 mile circumference. That circumference would cover 6.28 miles in 1 day, or just about a quarter of a mile per hour. If a plane takes off from that runway and heads south towards the equator, it must, by mathematical fact, by physics fact, somehow accelerate its angular momentum that as it was taking off from the North Pole was only just about a quarter of a mile per hour, must somehow, when it's going to land at the equator, have accelerated over 1,037 miles per hour of angular momentum. It has never been proven physically that planes do this. There has never been an instrumentation, reading, or measurement provided to prove that this is what airplanes do when flying from north to south towards the equator. And vice versa. A plane taking off from the equator is carrying 1,037 miles per hour angular lateral momentum and must somehow lose over 1,000 miles per hour of that angular momentum in order for it to land safely at the North Pole, that is again only moving at a quarter of a mile per hour. This proves the Earth is stationary, and as many NASA and other government documents proclaim, when doing flight tests, they assume a flat, stationary plane. Globe proponents will tell you this is just because it's an easier way to test things without making it complicated, and so the pilots don't have to do all the difficult math. I would submit to you, because there has never again been any physical proof of their mathematical claims of rotation and conservation of momentum, much less acceleration or deceleration of angular momentum that these planes carry, that it is more likely that the Earth is just flat and stationary, and that's why these government documents state this. Until someone can provide mechanical measurement of airplanes either gaining 1,000 miles per hour of angular momentum or losing it going from the equator to the North Pole 1,000 miles an hour of angular momentum. This is proof the Earth is a stationary level plane, just as the government's own documents state. Thank you for your time. The Earth is flat and stationary.
Fantastic video. Some pilots doing some awesome maneuvers there. One thing they can't do is land on a moving surface. The globe is not moving. Because there is no globe, there is no rotation. It is all flat. They say in the owner's manuals, then the instructions that given to the pilots, you have to treat everything as flat and stationary.
She takes a picture, and in that picture is this ET. He puts the camera over in that.
Yeah, we've got to skip those ads.
Of over 128,000 feet. His ascension took approximately 2.5 hours. His launch site was here, and his landing site was here. He landed 44 miles east of his launch site. According to the globe model, at the equator, the ground is allegedly rotating at 1,037 miles per hour. At the 33rd latitude, where Felix was located, the Earth is supposedly rotating at 867 miles per hour. So, if the ground was rotating at 867 miles per hour, then Felix should have landed roughly 2,000 miles to the west in the Pacific Ocean. Obviously, he didn't land in the Pacific Ocean. He actually landed 44 miles east of his launch site. That's the same direction as the Earth's supposed rotation, and absolutely the wrong direction. The alleged rotation of the Earth did not affect Felix's 2.5-hour ascent to that extreme altitude 1 iota. The globe propagandists want you to believe that the rotation of the ground somehow transferred all of its motion to the air above it, as though air constitutes a solid block stuck to the ground. They also must claim even the thinner upper layers of the atmosphere miraculously speed up to keep up with the ground below, as though the air can be connected to the ground like spokes on a bicycle wheel. The globe claim is patently absurd. In reality, the ground cannot effectively transfer its motion to air. Moreover, the layer of air close to the surface cannot then transfer its motion to the air above it, and so forth. If the Earth did spin as claimed by the globe model, this would result in a 1,000 mile per hour westerly wind, making life impossible. According to Dr. Carl Schofer, but we know of no body the parts of which have much less connection with each other than is the case with the air. The air layer next to the Earth, really dragged along by the communicated motion, would not be able to communicate its motion to the layers above it, for the simple reason that it stands in no connection with them. These upper layers must therefore remain in their place, or, which would signify the same theme, would apparently flow westward with the same rapidity with which the Earth is said to rotate to the east. Now, since the point on the equator, if the Earth rotates on its axis in a day, must move eastward at the rate of 1,250 feet a second, the air would similarly move 1,250 feet westward in a second, which would more than 10 times surpass the velocity of the most fearful hurricane. We cannot perceive the rotation of the Earth in any way. We cannot demonstrate it. There are no air currents which we can justly regard as, or even supposed to be, consequences of this rotation. These facts ought to be proof enough against the existence of the rotation of the Earth. Must it not appear almost absurd in us, preoccupied by what they have taught us in school, to accept a theory of the rotation of the Earth which neither is nor can be proven? Must we not wonder at the readiness of the learned of nearly the entire world, from the time of Copernicus and Kepler, to accept the conception of the rotation of the Earth, and then search afterwards, now for nearly 3.5 centuries, for arguments to maintain it, but of course without being able to find them? Without reasonable question, the Earth is stationary, and Felix Baumgartner proved the same.
Yeah, Felix Baumgartner proved there is no Coriolis. There is no Earth-based Coriolis. We do not see things drifting, and we are even told by the anti-flat earthers, Simon Dan, you and your reference frames have been ruined. Yeah, we wouldn't expect to see drift. That's what we're getting from the globe believers. If they think that their globe is spinning, then everything leaving that rotation reference frame into the inertial reference frame, like Felix Baumgartner just was demonstrating, he would be jumping and the Earth would be rotating underneath him. does not happen. Earth is stationary. That was flat Earth fact number 10. This is number 11.
Before the start
The German bombing beams proved the Earth is flat.
of World War II, German scientists developed a blind landing navigation system for aircraft. Essentially, aircraft tuned in to a certain frequency would know the location of the center of the runway by using a radio beacon as a guide. After World War II broke out, German military scientists soon realized that the same technology could enable German bombers to locate specific targets in England even in the darkest of nights. This secret system was called Knickerbein. In short, the radio beam from a single transmitter would guide the German bombers on a line towards the target. But one beam could not tell the bomber when they were over the target. A second transmitter was set up so its beam crossed over the target, indicating when the airplanes should drop the bombs. British intelligence, led by R.V. Jones, slowly became aware that such bombing beams may have existed, and presented the information to Frederick Lindemann, Winston Churchill's leading science advisor. But Lindemann and others said such a targeting system would be impossible, because the supposed curvature of the Earth would block the high-frequency beams, because VHF waves do not even allegedly bend around the curvature of the Earth.
Dr. Jones took the message to Professor Lindemann, his old tutor and now scientific advisor to Winston Churchill, and tried to persuade him of the serious threat posed by the Knickerbein beams. But Lindemann was not convinced, pointing out that at the high frequencies necessary for an accurate beam, the curvature of the Earth would prevent its being directed against targets in Britain.
Lindemann was conceptually and mathematically right. VHF beams would require a direct line of sight with the German bombers, and England was simply too far away. The first of these Knickerbein transmitters was set up on Stolberg Hill near Denmark. Another transmitter was set up at Kleve in western Germany. Stolberg Hill was located 443 miles away from Derby, England. The hill was only 142 feet high, and the transmitter was 152 feet high for a combined height of 294 feet. Based on the globe math, the Earth's curvature would hide 118,425 feet. The other transmitter was in Kleve. It only has an elevation of 39 feet combined with a 100-foot tower. 139-foot height with a distance of 331 miles means that the curvature of the Earth would hide 66,722 feet. In other words, under the globe, a German bomber would need to be higher than 118,425 feet to be within the line of sight of the Knickerbein system. But the maximum cruising altitude of a German bomber was only 19,200 feet. Without question, it was impossible under the globe for those German bombers to be within line of sight of the Knickerbein towers. But Knickerbein did work, and English lives were lost as Churchill's scientific advisors couldn't believe in the VHF Knickerbein system when the Earth's curvature should have made it impossible. Very high frequency requires a direct line of sight. Wikipedia confirms the same as it reads, as the transmitters were more or less in line of sight to high-altitude bombers. This article here confirms it as well. But as I just showed, Wikipedia lied, as German bombers would have been nearly 100,000 feet below the globe's geometric horizon and certainly not within line of sight of the towers. There you have it. Only under the flat Earth model could the Knickerbein system work, and the globe propagandists have no counter-argument but to lie and claim that the bombers were somehow in line of sight of the Knickerbein towers when that would have been mathematically impossible. German bombing beams proved there is no Earth curvature.
These are some awesome flat Earth facts. That was number 11. German bombing beams proved the Earth is flat. I'm going to let these, the rest of them play out because it is getting along, and I don't want to lose any of these. There are 15 of these, so they're 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to just let these play out now. These are a presentation, a playlist from Ben, Taboo Conspiracy. Michael Kahn, please spam his link in the chat again. Subscribe to Taboo Conspiracy. He has put this together. Awesome flat Earth facts.
In the middle part of the 19th century,
a man named Christian Doppler noticed that objects that emitted sound would produce either a rising or falling pitch to an observer, depending on the movement of the object relative to the observer. For example, an object which was producing a sound when moving toward an observer, such as a train, would produce a higher pitched sound as the object approached an observer. Likewise, a lower pitched sound would occur when the sounding object moved away from an observer. We know this today as the Doppler effect. Late in the 20th century, we merged radar technology with the Doppler effect, and we came up with Doppler radar, which is currently on your screen. Moisture shows up on Doppler radar much like it does on traditional radar, with one large exception, which makes Doppler radar superior. The Doppler radar unit detects the direction in which the moisture is moving relative to the Doppler unit itself. For example, moisture heading toward the Doppler radar may appear green, while moisture or precipitation heading away from the Doppler unit may appear red. The different colors tell meteorologists much more information than traditional radar can produce. In fact, it is the only tool that can be used outside of direct human observation to detect a funnel cloud or tornado. That is the hook image you see highlighted in this Doppler radar image. It is important to note that Doppler radar has no computation or compensation built in for the direction in which the signal is returned. In other words, an object moving toward the radar unit will shift the image towards green if the precipitation is moving toward the unit itself. It doesn't matter if the returned image is to the north or to the south or to the east or west. The Doppler radar unit is stationary and treats all returning signals alike, regardless of the directional source of the returned signal. And thus, with the spinning ball Earth that we are told exists, we've got a big problem. You see, if the Earth is rotating at somewhere between 750 to 1,000 miles per hour to the east, depending on the latitude of the radar unit, the Doppler effect would be totally negated by the Earth's rotation. Any echoes from the west would necessarily be moving away from the Doppler unit at 750 to 1,000 miles per hour, plus or minus the actual speed of the moisture that's moving itself, while echoes to the east would be rushing toward the radar unit at the same speed. All the other angles in between would create an almost infinite and nightmarish computation for the radar unit to sift through in order to make sense of the echoes received. The bottom line is there is movement whatsoever. The radar unit interprets all echoes the same, regardless of the compass direction. Doppler radar would be a total impossibility on a moving Earth. It simply would not exist. It would not and could not work if the Earth is a spinning ball.
On December 12, 1901, Guglielmo Marconi received a transatlantic radio transmission at a distance of 2,135 miles. With the transmission tower height and elevation added in, at that distance, nearly 640 miles should have been hidden behind the Earth's curvature. 640 miles is enough to hide the United Kingdom if it were standing straight up. That is a very tall shadow. In my previous Flat Earth Fact number 11 video, I described how the World War II German Knickerbein bombing radio guidance system was not initially investigated because English scientists, including Churchill's scientific advisor, stated the curvature of the Earth would block the VHF beams, and so the targeting system could not exist. The advisors were mathematically right, but English lives were lost because the Knickerbein system in fact existed, proving there was no Earth curvature. Likewise, naysayers told Marconi that it would be impossible to send a radio transmission over 200 miles, let alone 2,000 miles, because the curvature of the Earth should have blocked the transmission. Again, the naysayers were mathematically correct. The feat and has been repeated many times at much further distances. Because of me, the ionosphere theory was then fabricated, claiming that the radio waves bounced off of the ionosphere. For Loran, the explanation is that the radio waves hugged the surface of the water. For Knickebine, since the beams were VHF, the issue has been avoided entirely, as Wikipedia and others have simply lied about the math and said that the Earth's supposed curvature wouldn't have been an issue at those distances. Do you see the pattern here? Repeatable scientific evidence proves the Earth is demonstrably flat. In response, new pseudoscience nonsense is discovered, somehow justifying why the Earth's curvature somehow always evades detection and disappears without a trace. Marconi's 2,000-mile transmission is another proof of the flat Earth. In my last video, I discussed Marconi's 2,135-mile radio transmission that was supposed to be impossible under the globe model. Based on the globe math, that radio signal should have been approximately 640 miles over Marconi's head, but it wasn't. We talked about Knickebine and how English lives were foolishly lost because English scientists erroneously believed in the Earth's curvature that was supposed to be blocking German VHF bombing beams. According to the globe math, those German VHF beams should have been 100,000 feet above the German bombers, but they weren't. We have also talked about Loran and how Loran was used as a navigation system that could pinpoint the location of a boat 1,000 miles away from the station, again demonstrating there is indeed no Earth curvature. In addition to these examples, Sonar also unequivocally proves there is no Earth curvature. In addition to finding enemy submarines, sonar can be used for mapping the ocean floor. Ridges, hills, trenches, and sunken vessels are all easily mapped with sonar. Despite the detail of modern sonar mapping, no one has ever mapped or detected the Earth's curvature using sonar. When a Navy ship actively sends out a sonar ping, it will generate an acoustic shadow, where the sound waves are blocked by underwater obstructions, like boats, rocks, hills, and ridges. You can see the acoustic shadow produced by these sonar images. These shadows are sometimes used by submarines to hide from detection. However, as confirmed by former Navy sonar technicians, which has not been challenged by anyone, sonar has never produced a globe curvature acoustic shadow. If the globe were real, modern submarines, operating at a depth of 1,600 feet, could remain hidden from surface ships at 80 miles by hiding in the curvature shadow. Depending on the varying depths, a submarine could remain undetected from another submarine at a mere 25 miles by just hiding in the Earth's curvature shadow. However, no submarine has ever hid behind the Earth's curvature to evade detection, proving there is no curvature. That brings us to another US government proof of the flat Earth, which is called SOSUS, the Sound Surveillance System. SOSUS was a once classified passive sonar submarine location system used by the United States to locate Soviet submarines. Essentially, underwater listening devices called hydrophones were anchored to the ocean floor at key locations. These hydrophones could detect low-frequency sound waves emitted by submarines thousands of miles away. Once the sound waves of the submarines were detected by multiple hydrophones, the location of the submarine could then even be triangulated. Think about it. Could a submarine's very distant location be triangulated on a ball where there are supposed bulges of ground 100 miles tall between it and the hydrophones? At a curvature drop rate of approximately 8 inches per mile squared, the Earth's curvature should be easy to measure and detect in many ways. However, above water or below water, radio signals, sound waves, and VHF waves, high-altitude balloons, or just simple long-distance photography and lasers, the alleged Earth's curvature always seems to disappear without a trace, and that should cause any independent, thinking, reasonable person to realize there's a major problem with the globe. Regardless, the sonar flat Earth proof is pretty simple. Because there is no Earth curvature acoustic shadow, there is no Earth curvature, and that's a fact.
How good's that? I don't want that to let that slip by. Submarines could hide in the curvature of the Earth to not be detected. How funny is that? Obviously they don't, because there is no curvature. It is only flat Earth. These acoustic sonar waves are traveling over. And this is going to be the 15th and final flat Earth fact. But there will be more. Ben is currently making more flat Earth facts. I won't give the game away too much, but there's going to be some definite killer number 1 flat Earth proofs coming. All right, this is going to be number 15.
In my Flat Earth Fact number 10 video, I discussed Felix Baumgartner's proof that the Earth is stationary. To reiterate, according to the globe model, at the location of Felix's ascension, the Earth supposedly spins at the ridiculous speed of 867 miles per hour. Felix's balloon ascent lasted 2.5 hours, which would mean that Felix should have landed over 2,000 miles to the west in the Pacific Ocean if the Earth was spinning. Instead, Felix landed 44 miles to the east, which is the wrong direction, clearly indicating the supposed spin of the Earth had no impact whatsoever on Felix's 2.5-hour ascension in a balloon, despite the fact that the air gets much thinner the higher you go. As Felix's balloon ascended, it should have quickly fallen behind the ground that was spinning at 867 miles per hour, much like what you see here. Belying common sense, the globe faithful claim that the air above the ground impossibly stays uniformly attached to the ground like spokes on a bicycle wheel. Moreover, like the outer edge of the spokes on a bicycle wheel, which would have more distance to travel than the inner part of the wheel, Felix's capsule would have had to inexplicably speed up in the very thin air to keep up with the alleged spinning ground below it. The truth is the alleged spinning ground cannot effectively communicate its motion to the air above it, and that air cannot then communicate its motion to the air above it, and so forth, as there is no such connection. The Earth is most certainly not spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. But Felix also unwittingly proved the Earth is flat. First, from the inside of Felix's capsule at 128,000 feet, you can see the flat Earth horizon in the distance. Of course, when discussing the Red Bull jump, the media repeatedly showed pictures like this one. No, Felix did not jump over Planet New Mexico. This ridiculous curvature was only created by the camera's wide-angle lens, which is common with GoPro cameras. My own sister even used this image as her one and only proof of the globe. But you don't have to take my word for it. Official storyteller Neil deGrasse Tyson stated the same.
And not only that, they made sure to photograph him standing there with a really wide-angle lens, which curves horizontal lines. So in the photo, you see this curvature of Earth's surface, and he said, wow, he's in space, look at that. No, he's not. At that height, you don't see the curvature of the Earth if you are 2 millimeters above this beach ball. You just don't. That stuff is flat.
Let's assume that Tyson is correct that it would be impossible to see the curvature of the Earth at 128,000 feet on the globe, which contradicts nearly every other globe propagandist out there. Regardless, Felix's indisputable evidence of the flat Earth is the fact that the horizon did not drop 1 iota from ground level all the way up to 128,000 feet. The globe model states that the horizon, marked by an X, constitutes a physical barrier where the ground begins to obstruct distant objects. So once you ascend under the globe, that physical, tangible barrier should begin to drop. However, flat earthers believe that the horizon is a matter of perspective. So even though the horizon can be obstructed by haze, clouds, atmospheric conditions, miraging, lighting conditions, location of the sun, etc., the horizon would generally remain at eye level like you see in this example. Notice the perceived horizon remained in the same spot. This is Felix's capsule, approximately 10 feet off of the ground. Here's another angle of the dangling capsule. This is the point where Felix entered the capsule. Here it is again. I've marked where the perceived horizon is located in the distance. In this clip, Baumgartner is over 128,000 feet. Incomplete contradiction to the globe model, the horizon line didn't drop 1 iota, proving the horizon indeed rises to eye level. As another example, the model on the left illustrates what horizon drop should have occurred on the globe if it were real. The model on the right shows what would happen on a flat Earth as the horizon rises to eye level. If the globe was real, the horizon drop should have been obvious and unmistakable, but there was no horizon drop. Obviously, Felix's jump matches the flat Earth perfectly, proving the globe false. Yes, flat Earth is our reality.
That stuff is flat.
Flat Earth absolutely is our reality. They were 15 flat Earth proofs, flat Earth facts from Taboo Conspiracy. Thank you so much, Taboo Conspiracy, for giving us these awesome facts. He puts it so concisely, so beautifully. Subscribe to Taboo Conspiracy channel right now. Michael Kahn, can you please spam the link? Taboo Conspiracy. Awesome stuff. And that'll do for another edition of Flat Earth School. If you feel like the Earth turns on you, turn to Flat Earth School. It is around us 24/7 since the beginning of existence. I've been Mitchell from Australia. He's been Taboo Conspiracy, giving us 15, probably more. There's so many more Flat Earth facts in there and proofs. Earth is observably, measurably, navigatably, and has now been proven to be flat. Tomorrow, please join me. I will be having a very special guest, Red Pill Philosophy. He hasn't been around YouTube for a while. He's been over at Odyssey. He's been building a shipping container home. Red Pill Philosophy, please join me. Same time, same place, Mitchell from Australia, YouTube channel. Once again, Red Pill Philosophy will be my special guest. We're going to be going over many, many things. You don't want to miss that show. Salvatore Popadillo, Taboo is a legend. Good on you, Mitchell. Sends me $5 to say that. Thank you. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Michael Kahn, for being an awesome moderator and spamming the much needed links in the chat. Until tomorrow, like I said, join me on Flat Earth School for Red Pill Philosophy. You're going to be my awesome guest. Get out and view your, just experience, just be in your Flat Earth School. It is around you 24/7 since the beginning of existence. We are all students. Catch you later, guys.